The warning sirens blared across the freighter starbound, a harsh, piercing sound that made Alex's stomach twist. He gripped the edge of his console, eyes darting across the rapidly changing displays. The ship was spinning out of control, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. "Brace for impact!" Commander Celine's voice cut through the chaos, calm but commanding, even as the freighter shook violently. Alex's heart pounded. He had always admired her composure, even in training simulations. But this was real. The freighter slammed into the unknown planet's atmosphere, the hull groaning and sparking. Lights flickered, and the artificial gravity failed in bursts, sending Alex tumbling into the bulkhead. Pain shot through his shoulder when he hit the floor, but he scrambled up, fighting panic. Through the viewport, he saw the sky, swirling green and gold clouds, crackling with electric energy. It was beautiful and terrifying. Then, with a bone-shaking jolt, the freighter crash-landed. The world outside the viewport went from a blur to a chaotic, twisted landscape of alien trees and jagged cliffs. Smoke and dust filled the cabin, alarms still screaming in protest. Alex coughed, rubbing his eyes. He could hear Celine moving beside him. "Alex! Status!" she demanded, her voice cutting through the ringing in his ears. I think we're alive," Alex managed. "But the comms are dead. The hull is breached in Section 3. Celine assessed him with a quick glance, her eyes sharp despite the grime on her face. "We'll get out. Move to the escape pods." Together, they forced open a hatch and stumbled into the forest outside. The air was heavy and humid, smelling faintly of ozone and something floral. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. The freighter was a wreck behind them, smoke curling into the alien sky. "Where the hell are we?" Alex muttered. "Not sure yet," Celine replied. "Planet's atmosphere is breathable, but everything else, unknown. Stay close." The forest was alive in a way that made Alex uneasy. Plants glowed faintly at night, their leaves shimmering like emerald lights. Strange, small creatures peeked from behind trees, curious, but not hostile. A soft humming seemed to come from the very ground beneath their feet. Alex couldn't help glancing at Selena. She had always been intimidating, the kind of person who gave orders and expected obedience. But now, with her clothes torn and streaked with mud, her hair sticking to her face, she looked human, vulnerable. "This is bad," Alex said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "We don't know what's here. We don't know if anyone else survived, and our comms are down. We need shelter." Celine nodded, scanning the trees and the strange terrain. "Agreed. Let's move toward higher ground. The storm systems are unpredictable here. We'll need a vantage point." They trudged through the alien forest, stepping carefully over glowing vines and around small creatures that skittered away when approached. Every sound made Alex flinch. The crack of a branch, the rustle of leaves, the distant roar of something massive moving in the distance. Hours passed, though Alex couldn't tell for sure. Time felt strange here, slowed by exhaustion and the surreal beauty of the planet. Finally, they reached a ridge overlooking a valley. The view was breathtaking. Towering crystalline structures jutted from the earth like giant shards, catching the light from the planet's two suns. In the valley below, a river of liquid gold wound through the landscape. Celine knelt, examining the terrain with her portable scanner. "The planet is rich in energy signatures. These structures, they're not natural, some kind of intelligent design." Alex stared at her, amazed. "So, we're not just stranded in a forest, we're on a planet with history?" "Seems that way," she replied. Her voice was quiet now, almost thoughtful. "We need to survive first, then we explore." The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the alien landscape. Night brought a chill, and the glowing plants became brighter, illuminating their small clearing. Alex shivered, wrapping himself in a tattered blanket from the emergency supplies. Celine was already working, using remnants of the freighter debris and the local plants to build a makeshift shelter. Alex watched her, struck again by her determination. She never complained, never panicked, just adapted. "You know," he said after a while, breaking the silence, "I never thought I'd be stuck on an alien planet with my boss." Celine paused, glancing at him with a small, tired smile. "And yet here we are. Makes you realize how fragile everything we take for granted really is, doesn't it?" Alex nodded. "Yeah, I thought I was prepared for space travel, for anything, but this is different." Celine crouched beside him, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We'll make it through. If we work together, use our heads, and don't give in to fear, we'll survive. Humans are resilient, Alex. Never forget that." Her words, simple as they were, made something stir in him, a mixture of hope and determination. He realized that despite the alien terrain, the danger, and the uncertainty, he wasn't completely alone. Night deepened, and the forest around them hummed softly. Alex lay back on the ground, staring at the glowing canopy overhead. Somewhere in the darkness, creatures moved, observing silently. He could feel eyes on them, but no threat came. The planet itself felt alive, watching, waiting. Celine sat across from him, eyes scanning the surroundings. After a long pause, she spoke quietly, almost to herself. "If help never comes?" Alex turned to her, surprised by the whisper. She didn't finish the sentence, but the question hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Was she asking about survival, loyalty, or something else entirely? Alex didn't answer. He simply nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. The wind rustled through the alien leaves, carrying a strange, sweet scent. Alex closed his eyes for a brief moment, letting exhaustion wash over him. He didn't know what the morning would bring, more dangers, more discoveries, but for the first time since the crash, he felt a spark of confidence. Together, he and Celine could face whatever this planet had in store. Hours passed. The stars above the alien sky glittered like fragments of crystal. Strange constellations shifted in patterns Alex didn't recognize. Somewhere in the distance, a low roar echoed through the valley, followed by a cascade of glowing lights as a massive creature moved unseen. Celine stirred, waking him from his thoughts. "Rest now. We'll need every ounce of strength tomorrow." Alex nodded, lying back as the glowing plants bathed them in soft light. Despite fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty, he felt a strange sense of awe. Humans had come far, through the stars, across galaxies, and here they were, stranded on an alien world, and somehow he knew they wouldn't just survive. They would adapt. They would thrive. And maybe, just maybe, they would uncover the secrets of this mysterious planet and of each other. Sleep came slowly, punctuated by strange noises and distant roars. But for the first time since the crash, Alex didn't feel completely powerless. In the alien night, under strange glowing trees, he realized that humans, tenacious, clever, compassionate humans, always found a way. Tomorrow, the adventure would begin. The sun rose slowly over the alien horizon, bathing the glowing forest in a warm golden light. Alex stirred from his sleep, rubbing his eyes and listening to the soft hum of the forest. He could hear Celine already moving around their makeshift shelter, gathering materials from the wreckage and the surrounding forest. Alex stretched, feeling the soreness in his muscles from the crash and the long night on uneven ground. But the pain was secondary to the wonder of the place they were in. The trees were taller than anything on Earth, their leaves shimmering in shades of green, gold, and violet. Flowers opened slowly as the light touched them, releasing soft, glowing pollen that floated like tiny stars. Morning, Alex said quietly, careful not to disturb the forest more than necessary. Morning, Celine replied without looking up. She was already examining a small plant, using her portable scanner to take readings. We need to establish food and water sources today. This forest is strange, but it looks rich in edible plants and drinkable water. If we survive, we need to do it in an organized way. Alex nodded. He had always known Celine was brilliant, but her ability to stay calm and practical in this bizarre, dangerous environment impressed him even more. I'll help, he said. Where do we start? Celine handed him a small scanner. We need to find water first. The river in the valley is visible, but too far for a single trip. There might be smaller streams closer to us. Together, they ventured down a gentle slope, careful of the glowing vines that seemed to move slightly as if aware of their presence. Small creatures peeked from behind trees, observing them with curiosity but never approaching. Alex felt like they were being watched, but the feeling was more protective than threatening. Look at this, Celine said, kneeling beside a patch of plants with broad, luminescent leaves. These are high in nutrients, could be edible. The glow comes from energy-rich compounds. Humans could survive on these for a while. Alex nodded, carefully collecting some samples. How do you know it's safe? Celine smiled faintly. I don't. But humans are clever. We test, we observe, we adapt. That's what we do best. They spent hours exploring a small section of the forest, mapping it in their minds and taking notes. Alex was surprised at how much he enjoyed it. The fear that had gripped him during the crash had faded slightly, replaced by curiosity and determination. By late morning, they had found a small stream, clear and flowing with water, that smelled faintly metallic but clean. Alex filled their containers while Celine examined the area. We can use this as a base for now, she said. The stream provides water, the terrain gives us natural barriers, and the plants here are nutritious. We'll need to set traps for any larger creatures just in case. Alex nodded, grateful for her foresight. I can build some simple traps with the materials from the wreckage and the forest, he said. Should keep things safe until we know more. Celine studied him, her expression unreadable for a moment. You've adapted faster than I expected, she said. Humans are remarkable. Given a challenge, we find solutions. Sometimes it's instinct, sometimes creativity, but always determination. Alex felt a warmth spread through him at her words. He had always looked up to Celine, but hearing her praise him, even in this small way, was encouraging. As the day wore on, they began to explore further. Alex noticed that some of the plants seemed to respond to their presence. Leaves shifted as they walked by, and small flowers opened and closed in patterns that almost seemed like communication. Do you see that? Alex whispered. Celine nodded. The forest might be intelligent. Not like us, but aware of its surroundings. We need to be careful, observe patterns, and respect its boundaries. They ventured deeper, following the stream as it twisted through the forest. Strange structures appeared in the distance, tall, crystalline spires that seemed to hum with energy. Celine's eyes widened as she approached. These aren't natural, she said, scanning the spires with her handheld device. Someone built these a long time ago. Humans, aliens, I don't know. But it confirms my suspicion. This planet has history, and we are not the first to be here. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with unease. Do you think we could learn from them? Maybe find technology to help us get off this planet? Celine shrugged. Maybe, or maybe we'll find warnings. Either way, we need to proceed carefully. They set up a small campsite near the stream, constructing a more secure shelter from freighter debris and forest materials. Alex fashioned a simple water filtration system using glowing moss and small stones. while Selene worked on a rudimentary energy collector using crystals from the forest. The process was slow but effective. As night approached, the forest came alive in a new way. The glowing plants intensified, casting eerie patterns across the ground. Alex noticed creatures moving in the shadows, their eyes reflecting the light like tiny lanterns. They didn't approach, but their presence was constant. Sitting by the small fire they had made from non-flammable plants, Alex finally spoke the thought that had been lingering since the crash. "Commander, why did you ask me last night? If help never comes, would I stay by your side?" Selene looked at him, her face softened by the firelight. "I wasn't asking about loyalty in a romantic sense," she said quietly. "I was asking about trust. In a situation like this, we may not have anyone else. Can we rely on each other? Can we survive together?" "That's what I wanted to know." Alex nodded, understanding. "I see. I can do that. I'll stay by your side. We'll survive." Selene's eyes met his, and for the first time, she allowed herself a small, genuine smile. "Good. That's all I needed to hear." The night deepened, and the alien forest became almost hypnotic. Strange noises echoed, soft growls, rustling leaves, and a distant roar that made Alex shiver. But he felt safer than he had since the crash. Together, he and Selene had begun to understand the forest, to find patterns, to create solutions. Humans were resourceful, resilient, and adaptable. Suddenly, a sharp, pulsing light flashed across the sky, reflecting off the crystalline spires in the distance. Alex and Selene both froze. The light was rhythmic, almost deliberate. "Do you see that?" Alex asked, pointing. Selene's scanner beeped rapidly. "Yes, that energy pulse. It's artificial. Something is active on this planet. Maybe the structures we saw are connected. We need to investigate. Carefully." Alex swallowed hard. The excitement of discovery was tempered by fear. "Could it be dangerous?" "Everything here is potentially dangerous," Selene replied. "But humans don't shy away from challenges. We adapt, we learn, we survive. Let's be cautious, but not afraid." For the rest of the night, they prepared. They secured the shelter, set simple alarms using sticks and stones, and mapped the direction of the energy pulse. Alex couldn't sleep, his mind racing with possibilities. By the time dawn broke, painting the forest in shades of amber and violet, they were ready. Alex checked their supplies, food, water, basic tools, and Selena reviewed her notes. "We explore the pulse today," she said. "We may find answers or new challenges. Either way, we move forward." Alex nodded, feeling a thrill of determination. Despite the alien world, despite the danger, he realized something profound. Humans had survived countless challenges across the universe. This was just another test, and together, he and Selene would rise to meet it. As they set out toward the glowing spires, Alex glanced at Selene. The question from last night lingered in his mind, but he didn't need an answer now. Trust, loyalty, and courage were all that mattered. And humans, especially humans like them, were unstoppable when they had those qualities. The forest hummed around them, alive with secrets and unseen eyes. But Alex felt ready. He knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, and they would survive. The adventure was only beginning. The forest seemed calm in the morning light, but Alex couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Every step they took toward the glowing spires made the landscape seem stranger, almost alive. Trees swayed without wind, and the soft humming underfoot grew louder, as if the ground itself were pulsing with energy. Selene moved ahead confidently, scanning the terrain with her handheld device. "The energy pulse is coming from the spires," she said. "It's intermittent but strong. Something or someone left it active." Alex glanced at the spires in the distance. They shimmered like tall shards of crystal, reflecting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. "Do you think it's dangerous?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Celine shrugged. "Everything here is potentially dangerous. But danger doesn't mean we don't survive. Humans adapt. We've survived far worse." Alex nodded. Her confidence was infectious, and he felt himself growing braver with every step. Still, the forest seemed determined to test them. A sudden rustle made them both freeze. Glowing vines writhed like snakes, blocking their path. Alex jumped back instinctively, but Celine moved forward calmly. She touched the vines, and they recoiled slightly, then uncurled, leaving a clear path. "The forest is aware of us," she said quietly. "It's testing, observing, maybe even judging. Stay calm, move deliberately, and respect it." Alex swallowed hard, following her. He realized that their survival depended not just on tools or knowledge, but on understanding this living world. They continued through the forest, careful to avoid disturbing the glowing flora. Strange creatures scuttled in the shadows, their reflective eyes tracking their every move. One larger creature, a quadruped with translucent skin and faintly glowing veins, watched them from a ridge. Alex froze, unsure if it was hostile. "Keep moving slowly," Celine whispered. "It won't attack if we show no threat." Sure enough, the creature lingered for a moment before disappearing into the trees. Alex exhaled slowly. This planet was testing them at every turn, and every success felt like a small victory. Hours later, they reached a clearing where the spires rose like jagged towers. The energy pulse they had been following was strongest here, and the ground vibrated faintly beneath their feet. Celine knelt to examine a patch of glowing moss near the base of one spire. "This moss is conducting energy from the spires," she said. "It's like a natural circuit. We could use it to power equipment if we figure out the connections." Alex peered around, noticing strange patterns in the arrangement of spires. "It looks deliberate, like someone built this as a network." "Exactly," Celine replied. "And humans can understand networks. That's our strength. Logic, creativity, observation, things no other species uses the same way." As they moved closer to the spires, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Alex stumbled, reaching out to grab Celine's arm. "What was that?" "The island itself," Celine said, her voice tense. "It's alive in ways we don't fully understand. The energy we're following might be linked to its defense mechanisms." The tremors intensified, and vines from nearby trees lashed out like whips. Alex ducked, narrowly avoiding one that would have knocked him off his feet. Celine grabbed a sturdy branch and used it to pry the vine back, clearing a path. "Watch your step!" she shouted over the rising noise. "The island isn't just a backdrop, it's part of the challenge. Adapt or get hurt." Alex gritted his teeth, remembering her words from earlier. Humans survive because they adapt. He moved cautiously, observing the patterns of the vines and the tremors. Every step was deliberate, careful, but forward. They reached the base of a particularly large spire. Its surface was smooth and reflective, but etched with strange symbols. Alex traced them with his fingers, fascinated by the artistry. "Look at this," Celine said, examining a glowing panel embedded in the spire. "It's a control mechanism of some kind. If we can figure out how to use it, we might access the energy of the entire network." Alex looked at her, eyes wide. "Do you think we can do it?" Celine smiled faintly. "We are human. We learn, improvise, and overcome. That's what we do best." They began experimenting with the panel, pressing symbols in different sequences. The spire pulsed in response, sending waves of light across the ground. The forest reacted immediately. Vines curled back, glowing flowers brightened, and the air hummed with energy. "This is incredible," Alex said. "It's like the forest is alive, and it's responding to us." It is, Selena replied, and we need to respect it. Force could be dangerous. Cooperation and observation, those are the keys. As they worked, the tremors returned, stronger than before. Alex realized that the spires were stabilizing the island's energy, and if they failed, the entire area could collapse. "Step back," Selena shouted. "We need to redirect the energy flow through these crystals. Follow my instructions exactly." Alex followed her lead, moving stones and connecting energy channels with glowing moss. The forest seemed to watch, pulses of light flaring around them. A large shadow moved overhead, an enormous flying creature with iridescent wings. Alex froze, but Selene kept her focus. "Trust me," she said. "It won't attack unless we show fear." The creature circled them, then vanished into the distance. Alex exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and exhilaration. Humans survive by staying calm, thinking ahead, and trusting each other, even in the face of the unknown. By late afternoon, they had managed to stabilize the energy flow in the spires. The tremors stopped, the vines relaxed, and the forest seemed to settle. The glowing flowers dimmed slightly, as if satisfied with their work. Selene leaned against a spire, catching her breath. "We did it," she said. "The island tested us and we passed. Humans are resilient. Our ingenuity, patience, and courage, that's what allows us to survive even the most alien environments." Alex smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "I never thought I'd say this, but I feel like we earned the forest's respect." Selene looked at him thoughtfully. "Respect isn't given lightly, but humans earn it because we adapt, we learn, and we never give up. That's why we survive when others might not." Night fell, and the forest glowed softly under the twin moons. Alex and Selene returned to their campsite, exhausted but satisfied. They had survived the island's first major challenge, and in doing so, learned more about its strange living intelligence. Sitting by the fire, Alex glanced at Selene. "Yesterday we were just trying to survive. Today, it feels like we're starting to understand this place." Selene nodded. "Exactly. Survival isn't just about food and water. It's about understanding the environment, reading the signals, and adapting. That's what makes humans exceptional." Alex felt a warmth of pride mixed with awe. They were strangers in a strange land, but their cooperation, ingenuity, and courage had carried them through the first real test. As they settled in for the night, the glowing plants cast gentle patterns on their faces. Alex realized that humans could thrive anywhere, even on a living, alien world, if they stayed calm, observed carefully, and trusted each other. The forest hummed softly, alive and watchful. Alex and Selene had passed the first test, but they both knew that the island had more challenges ahead. Stranger, more dangerous, and more complex than anything they had faced, and tomorrow they would face them together. The morning sun filtered through the alien trees, painting the forest in golden green light. Alex woke to the gentle hum of the forest and the soft glow of plants around their campsite. Yesterday's trials weighed heavily on his body, but his mind buzzed with anticipation. Today they would explore the towering spires that pulsed with mysterious energy, structures that hinted at a civilization long gone. Selene was already awake, inspecting their makeshift shelter and the surroundings. She had a small scanner in her hand, sweeping over the glowing moss and nearby trees. "We need to move carefully," she said. "The energy from the spires affects the ecosystem. Disturb it too much and the island might retaliate. Think of it like walking through a living puzzle. Each step matters." Alex stretched and nodded. "I'm ready. Let's see what secrets this place holds." They made their way toward the nearest spire, walking through the glowing forest with caution. The air was thick with humidity, but also charged with energy. Small creatures peeked from the underbrush, curious but not aggressive. The hum underfoot grew stronger as they approached the spires, vibrating through their feet in a rhythm that felt almost alive. At the base of the tallest spire, they discovered a narrow opening leading into the structure. The walls inside shimmered faintly, etched with symbols that glowed as if they carried their own light. Alex traced his fingers over the carvings, marveling at the intricate designs. "These symbols," he murmured. "They're like a language, but I've never seen anything like it." Celine knelt beside a control panel embedded in the wall. "This is more than decoration. These symbols are functional, probably instructions or records. The energy pulse we felt is connected to this system. If we can understand it, we might unlock information about whoever built these spires, and maybe even find a way off this planet." Alex glanced at her, impressed. "Do you think humans could really figure it out?" Celine smiled faintly. "We've always figured out the unknown. We're curious, inventive, and persistent. That's why we survive. Let's try." Together, they experimented with the panel, touching symbols in different sequences. The spire responded, glowing brighter and projecting a series of holographic images into the air. Alex and Celine stepped back in awe. The holograms depicted humanoid figures, dressed in flowing robes, interacting with technology that resembled the spires themselves. There were scenes of exploration, study, and careful construction. Some figures were shown observing the environment, while others worked with tools similar to what Alex and Celine had been using. "These aren't alien figures," Celine said softly. "They're human. Somehow humans were here before us. Long ago." Alex's mind raced. "So, we're not the first humans stranded here?" Celine nodded. "No, and whoever they were, they survived and built this infrastructure. They left a record of their knowledge, perhaps as a guide or a warning." The spire hummed, and another hologram appeared, a map of the forest, showing energy lines connecting the spires. Alex realized it was more than a record. It was a network, a system that could potentially control the environment. "If we can understand this network, we might manipulate the island safely," Celine said. "We could even use it to signal for rescue or protect ourselves from dangers we don't yet know." Excitement mixed with caution. Alex and Celine spent hours studying the symbols and holograms, piecing together their meaning. They used the energy-conducting moss and crystals to replicate the connections shown in the holograms. Slowly, the system responded, stabilizing energy flows in the nearby spires and calming the restless vines and plants in the forest. Alex looked at Celine, impressed. "We're actually doing it. We're understanding it." Celine smiled, a rare look of genuine pride on her face. "Yes, humans have a way of solving problems that no other species does. Observation, experimentation, persistence, it's in our nature." Suddenly, the system pulsed with a stronger energy, projecting a final hologram, an image of the forest as it had been centuries ago. Alex and Celine saw small communities of humans, thriving in harmony with the island. They built shelters and tools using the natural resources, respecting the ecosystem while harnessing its power. "This is incredible," Alex whispered. "They lived here, survived, and left this for us." Celine's eyes softened. "It's a reminder. Humans can endure anything if we adapt, respect our environment, and work together. That's what this place wants us to learn. Not just survival, but harmony with the world around us." As they studied the holograms, the ground beneath them rumbled slightly. Alex glanced around, tension rising. "Is it the island again?" Celine's expression was serious. "Possibly. The island tests those who try to control it. If we overreach, it might fight back. But if we proceed carefully, using intelligence and observation instead of force, we can succeed." They continued their work, carefully adjusting the energy flows and observing the forest's responses. Slowly, the tremors stopped, and the environment settled. The forest seemed calmer, almost approving. Alex realized that their survival depended not just on strength or courage, but on patience, reasoning, and respect. Hours passed. Alex and Celine documented everything they learned, making careful notes and sketches. The spire's network responded to their guidance, stabilizing and enhancing the forest's energy rather than threatening them. Finally, Celine stepped back, taking a deep breath. We've done more than survive today. We've begun to understand the lessons left for us. Humans aren't just adaptable. We're capable of insight, innovation, and problem-solving beyond instinct alone. That's why we endure. Alex nodded, feeling a surge of pride. It's amazing and humbling. They left this knowledge for us, and we're proving that we can use it responsibly. As night fell, the spire glowed softly, casting gentle light across the forest. Alex and Celine returned to their campsite, exhausted but exhilarated. The island had challenged them, but instead of breaking them, it had shown them a new path. Sitting by the fire, Alex glanced at Celine. "Do you think we'll ever really leave this planet?" Celine looked thoughtful. "If we apply what we've learned here, yes. Humans are resilient, clever, and determined. We'll find a way. And even if we can't leave immediately, we can survive and thrive here." Alex smiled, reassured by her confidence. "I guess it's true. Humans really are incredible." Celine returned his smile, quieter but genuine. "Yes, Alex, and so are we, together." The forest hummed softly around them, alive and watchful. For the first time, Alex felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Celine, but to the humans who had come before, and to the strange living world around them. Humans had survived, adapted, and learned. And now, it was their turn. Tomorrow, they would continue exploring, uncovering more of the island's mysteries and testing their knowledge against the challenges that still lay ahead. But tonight, they rested, knowing that humans could overcome even the most alien and complex environments through intelligence, patience, and cooperation. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by the glow of the forest, Alex understood something profound. Survival was not just about fighting the unknown. It was about understanding it, respecting it, and using human ingenuity to rise above it. For the first time, he felt truly hopeful. The morning sun spilled golden light across the alien forest, illuminating the glowing plants and shimmering trees. Alex awoke with a sense of determination. Today, they would face the ultimate challenge, the one that would decide whether humans could truly thrive on this mysterious island and, hopefully, find a way to signal for rescue. Celine was already awake, standing near the edge of their campsite, studying the nearest spire. "The energy network is stable," she said, "but we're not done. The island's intelligence, or whatever controls these systems, will test us one last time. It's not enough to understand it. We have to prove that we're worthy." Alex rubbed his eyes, feeling both nervous and excited. "Worthy? How do we prove that?" Celine's gaze was steady. "The island responds to qualities humans possess that are unique: courage, logic, empathy, and cooperation. If we demonstrate those, we'll be allowed to access the full system and, hopefully, call for help." Alex nodded, realizing the weight of their task. Survival had been one thing, but this was different. They weren't just fighting the environment. They were proving humanity itself. They approached the spire network together, moving with care. The ground pulsed beneath their feet, a steady rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Small creatures observed them from the trees, their glowing eyes tracking every move. The forest hummed, alive with anticipation. At the center of the spire cluster, a large platform rose from the ground. On it, A series of complex symbols glowed, rotating in patterns that defied simple logic. Alex and Celine exchanged a glance. "This is it," Celine whispered. "The final test." The symbols began to shift, projecting a holographic interface into the air. It displayed a series of challenges, logical puzzles, sequences of energy patterns, and scenarios requiring empathy and cooperation. Alex's heart raced as he realized the magnitude of what they faced. "Let's take it one step at a time," Celine said. "We combine our skills: observation, reasoning, and trust. Humans excel at that. We've done it before. We can do it again." The first puzzle was a sequence of energy conduits. Alex observed the pulsing lights, noting the pattern. Celine guided him, combining her knowledge of the spire network with his observations. Together, they redirected the energy correctly, stabilizing the first challenge. The forest seemed to respond approvingly. The vines relaxed, the humming softened, and the glow of the plants brightened. The second challenge tested empathy. Holographic figures appeared, representing humans who had struggled on the island in the past. Alex and Celine had to make choices that would protect them, allocate resources wisely, and prioritize safety without harming the environment. They debated quietly, weighing each decision carefully. "We can't take shortcuts," Celine said. "Every choice matters. Humans survive by making decisions that balance survival with responsibility." Alex nodded, adjusting the sequence of energy flow to provide water and food to the holographic figures while avoiding damage to the spire network. Slowly, the holograms stabilized, and the energy around the platform pulsed in approval. The final test appeared, a large, intricate pattern that required them to synchronize their actions perfectly. Alex and Celine worked together, their movements coordinated, their decisions aligned. Each step, each adjustment, reinforced their trust in each other and in the abilities of humanity. As they completed the final sequence, the forest erupted in a symphony of light. The spires glowed brightly, casting radiance across the trees. The vines swayed gently, as if bowing in recognition. The island itself seemed to exhale, a deep vibration that resonated through the ground. "We did it," Alex whispered, awestruck. Celine smiled, her eyes reflecting the glow of the spires. "Humans have always survived. It's not just strength or technology, it's courage, intelligence, empathy, and collaboration. That's why we endure. That's why we thrive." A new hologram appeared, a projection of a beacon designed to send signals beyond the planet. Alex realized with excitement that the final test had unlocked the ability to call for help. "We can use this to reach our fleet," Celine said, already working with the Spire network to activate the beacon. "It won't be instant, but it will send a clear signal that humans are here." Alex helped her, carefully following the instructions embedded in the Spire network. The beacon powered up, sending pulses of energy into the sky, piercing the atmosphere. For the first time since the crash, they felt a tangible hope. Rescue was possible. As they stepped back from the spire, Alex looked around at the forest, glowing softly under the twin moons. "It's incredible," he said. "We survived, we adapted, and we proved ourselves." Celine nodded. "Yes. And the lesson is clear. Humans are remarkable, not because we're the strongest or the fastest, but because we learn, cooperate, and persevere. That's what allows us to overcome the impossible." Alex felt a surge of pride. Together, they had faced the island's tests, understood its energy, and harnessed its power responsibly. The lessons of the ancient humans echoed through the forest, the ones who had thrived before them, leaving guidance and warnings. And now, Alex and Celine were part of that legacy. Hours passed as they monitored the beacon, ensuring it remained active. The forest around them pulsed gently with energy, no longer threatening, but protective. The creatures of the island observed quietly, their glowing eyes reflecting approval. As night fell, Alex and Celine sat by a small fire, the soft glow of the spires illuminating their faces. Alex thought about how far they had come. From the freighter crash, through fear, survival, and exploration, to mastering the island's mysteries. Celine spoke quietly, almost to herself. If help never comes. Alex turned to her, remembering her question from the first night. She didn't need to finish the sentence. He understood completely. He smiled. We'd survive, he said firmly. Together. Celine's eyes softened, and she nodded. Yes, together. For a long while, they sat in silence, watching the forest. The island had tested them, challenged them, and revealed its secrets. Humans had proven themselves, not just capable of surviving, but of understanding, respecting, and mastering their environment through intelligence, cooperation, and courage. Then, in the distance, a faint shimmer appeared on the horizon. Alex squinted. A ship responding to the beacon. Rescue was coming. Celine stood, scanning the forest. They'll arrive soon. But even if they didn't, we would have survived. We've learned, adapted, and thrived. That's humanity. Alex felt a rush of pride and relief. He realized that the island had not just been a challenge, it had been a mirror, reflecting the strength of human spirit. When the ship landed, Alex and Celine climbed aboard. As the engines hummed to life and the craft lifted into the sky, they looked down at the forest below. It glowed softly, a living testament to the humans who had survived before and those who had proven themselves today. Humans really are incredible, Alex said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. Celine smiled, standing beside him. Yes, they are, and so are we. As the ship ascended, leaving the alien planet behind, Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They had survived the crash, unraveled the mysteries of the island, and proven the strength of humanity in a world far stranger than Earth. And though the planet disappeared beneath the clouds, its lessons stayed with them. Humans had always thrived against impossible odds, and this adventure had only proven it once again. The stars stretched out before them, infinite and inviting. Alex looked at Celine, and she smiled back, a quiet acknowledgement of shared trials, triumphs, and trust. Together, they had faced the unknown, and together, they had won. Humans had survived. Humans had triumphed. And as the ship sailed toward home, Alex knew one thing for certain. Wherever humanity went, whatever challenges arose, they would always endure. Because humans were not just survivors. They were explorers, innovators, and champions of their own fate. And on this distant planet, beneath the glowing spires and living forest, humanity had once again proven its strength.